Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today I'm working with these cozy toe slipper dies from Spellbinders and I'm working on my craft roulette card. We've got the cutest little bunny in there that will make some really cute slippers and I'm going to use those. So the parameters for this week's craft roulette card are 3 folds, sweater colors, footwear, and post-it. And so I'm going to be using this bunny pattern paper here for my sweater colors. It's like having an Easter sweater with little bunnies on it. And these are going to be my pajama bottoms. And I'm going to get the die cutting done here. And I've got quite a bit of die cutting. I've got to do 2 PJ bottoms and 2 feet, 2 slippers and all that and everything. So I think this will be a cute pattern and it'll make for a cute little Easter card. And I think I can pull all the parameters in fairly easily and we'll be able to meet it and have a super cute card. So I'm just going to do all my die cutting with my Scout, and I think I'll speed it up a bit because there's quite a bit, and then we'll just chitty chat a little bit as we're doing that. So I've got my 2 pajama bottoms there, and I'm going to start working on the base of my slippers and my skin, my little leg. You've got a little bit of leg showing there, and then the bunny part of my slipper, and I'm also doing the toe of the slipper in white and the eyes and nose area in white as well. And we're going to have to do this multiple times because we have, well, first of all, the first time I cut the bunny, I clipped a little bit of his ear off, so I had to redo him. And then I'm going to have to, I'm trying to get some color here for the insides of his ears so that that'll really pop out. And I've got this strip here, and I'm going to do this. And at the moment, I'm not thinking about cutting out the second one for the second slipper, so I'm just realizing I've got to do all this again. So I'm bringing it all in. I was actually watching Mommy Lala. She was doing an episode on better press and glimmering and how you can use intermingle the two of those together. And so I'm watching that as I'm crafting here and not really paying attention to what I'm doing, but it all comes together quite nicely, and I was able to enjoy her video as well. I lots of times will watch my fellow crafters and friends craft while I'm crafting, and then I just pop the sound out. And I did have to edit out. I was chatting with them as well, and so I had to edit out each time I reached across and grabbed the keyboard and was keying, to chat with them. So I'm realizing here that this isn't big enough, and I'm going to have to bring in my big machine. So I'll get the Spellbinder 6 and I'll do my fall frames. It's called Fall Frames die, and it's got this inner piece and then this outer piece for A2 size, and it puts a beautiful stitched edging on there. It's from Cat Scrappiness. I will link it. I will link all the materials in the description box below so you can check it out. But I love this set. Now I've got a top folding card, and I'll get this panel laid down on there. And at one point, I'll actually forget that I have a top folding card and think about rotating it. And then I realize, oh, you've got a top folding card. You can't do that. So I'm trying to get my glue to work. I thought it needed cleaned out, and then I realized I needed to push it. It wasn't pushed all the way into the base, so I pushed it down, and then it was able to squeeze and get the glue out. So we're just going to line this up, and we've got a nice stitched edge around there. I don't think you can really see it on the camera, but we've got a nice stitched edging as well as on that frame there. And that frame's not quite large enough for the length of my pajama bottoms, but I'm going to work with it and cut it down. And I'm going to make my pajama bottoms the wide-legged ones. And my plan is to actually add a fold on the bottom of my pajamas, like they're too long and I had them folded up 3 times. I will do that and meet that element. But right now I'm using just one of my pink alcohol markers to color in the tip of the shoe. And this is going to layer underneath the slipper base there. And I just need the edge of it because just a little bit of it's going to show. Actually color more than I need, but it's just the tip of it's going to show. So we're going to layer this up with the tip underneath the white part of the slipper. And you've got nice detail embossing on there, or debossing, so that you can see exactly where to line that tip up with the bigger part of your slipper. So we'll get both of these. and get them pressed down. And I had a little bit that I needed to touch up on my tip on the base of my slipper there. Now I get ahead of myself here and I put this white piece down, but you actually need to put your skin in between there, and then this will show on the back of your, your ankle or whatever. And so I'm going to get this on there, and then I'll quickly realize that I needed to put that skin in there, the ankle, I should say. Skin sounds kind of weird. So I'll get this tucked in there, and then I'll re-glue it. So I'm just going to tuck it in, pull that back off. It was still wet, and I was able to do that. Get that lined up. We'll add some more glue, and we'll get the back of our slipper or our sock or whatever that is laid down on there. Actually, I think it's a sock. Or it's a cuff to the slipper, just depending on. Anyway, and I'm going to do the same on this one. And our slippers are coming together. Just get them lined up real nice and neat. Super cute. Just trying to wipe off any bits or glue or whatever I've got on there. Now I'm going to assemble my bunny. And I've got the little pieces for the eyes and the nose there. And I've decided I'm just going to bring in a gray marker. I didn't want to do black. I didn't have black in my little... I had some setting out that I had used. I haven't put them up yet. And instead of digging for a black one, I thought I'll just use a gray and just have a little gray nose and little gray eyes. And I think it turned out super cute. So I'm just coloring these up. And that'll cover the eye holes and then the nose holes that you have that are die cut out. And so I'm just going to get some glue down on there, and we'll get our bunny laid down on that, and then it will cover the eyes and the nose. I'm just going to position it, make sure I get my eyes and my nose covered. Wipe off any glue that's on there. And then I'm bringing in my glue eraser because a little glue seeped out, and I just want to get it good and clean so it would look nice. And this time I'm going to put the glue on the back of the bunny's head instead of the little die cut piece, and I think it worked out better that way. I didn't get any glue on there, and it kept it much cleaner. So now I'm ready to just attach my legs, and these are some, like I said, some wide-legged pajamas. And I'm going to get them attached. I think it's really cute. And we'll get the next one. And then we're going to get our bunnies on there. I need to put the earpieces in to, kind of give that shadowing of the ears. And I've used that dark pink. I've die cut that out. And I first bring in some pink tape, and then I realized I can do better than that. I've got some thin strips, and I can use the thin strips, and I don't have to trim this tape off. So that's what I'm using this thinking I'll trim around it. And then I'm like, no, we've got some thin strips over here we'll just grab, and we'll put some thin. We're going to pop them up anyway, so we'll just put some thin strips on here, and then we can lay the shadowing of the ear down on top of that since it's sticky. Just kind of tucking those strips in where I want them. Then we'll just inlay these pieces in here, and we've got some really cute little ears. This one's tiny. This little piece here is tiny because that little ear is bent over. Now I'm just going to bring in some more foam, and because I'm just going to pop my bunny up, and I'll just put more foam on my little bunny. Cleaning up my slipper. And we'll get this laid down on there. Super, super fun. This is a fun die set. And I was excited for the parameters because I was thinking I could use this. I wanted to use this again. And I'm glad these parameters popped up because I wasn't thinking that there was a bunny. And this is a great set for Easter as well. And so I was glad those parameters, and that little piece just flipped across my desk and I had to go chasing after it. But I was glad that these parameters showed up because it made me think about this die set, and then realizing that there was a bunny, it was perfect timing because, spring and Easter is coming up. And so I thought it'd be fun to use them and to just show you that you can pull that die set out and use it for Easter, springtime. And I just used the pattern paper is something that I had picked up at Joann's. It was a big 12 by 12 pattern paper pack, and I knew it was Easter, and I thought, well, that would be fun, so I used it. Now I'm bringing in another die that I didn't use that have the cheeks, and so I'm going to have to run it through twice. It has the cheeks, and it also has something for another element, and so I'll have two pieces there that I'll just lay aside and not use, but I'm going to do it twice, and the next time I'm just going to get the cheeks on the paper. That way I don't waste any more of it than I need to. And so now we've got 4 little rosy cheeks that we can get laid down on our bunny, and it'll make it look even cuter. I'm just trying to get the slightest little bit of glue out, and I just squeezed it once for all 4 of them, so I would just have a dab. And I'm going to bring in my pick-up tool and just lay them down on there. Super, super cute. This is a fun die set. I love it. And I made this video in my PJs. We were able to, following yesterday's video, I kind of told you about what was going on with my son-in-law. The kids went home, and so we were able to actually go out to dinner last night. We played a couple quick games with my dad and mom, and then I came home, got in the corner of the sectional, and I watched Craft Roulette, then went to bed, and then I got up, and I thought I'm just going to have a full day of crafting because we're supposed to get some freezing rain today, so I don't plan on really getting out much. Anyway, so here's where I'm going to create like I've folded up my pajamas. Like my pajamas have got 3 folds on them, and on the underside of my pajamas I've got a coordinating pattern that goes with my bunny pajamas, and I think this is a cute way to do the 3 folds. I will later bring in an envelope because I need that post-it feature, and I didn't use any post-it tapes on it. So I'll have some folds on my envelope as well. But this was what I had intentionally meant for my 3 folds on my card. I'm layering 3 of these up, in which it looks like I have folded my slippers up 3 layers. And I thought that was kind of a fun way to do it. Sometimes you feel like you're limited with the parameters on there, but if you get creative and think about it, you can usually come up with something that will meet the parameters, but doesn't have you coming up with a crazy 3-fold card, or whatever the element is. So I've got 3 little folds to my slippers, and I'm just going to get them put on my pajamas, and I'm just going to get them laid down on my pajamas, and we'll have a nice little cuff on our pajamas that we have folded up 3 times. So I'm just going to glue this right there on the edge, and I think it's cute. It coordinates very well with the other pattern. Of course, it all came from one paper pack, so everything's made to coordinate. Now, I didn't glue that inside frame down because I knew I would need to cut these down because the legs are too long for that panel. And I'm not sure, I cut around the frame rather than cutting straight across. Now, here's where I'm thinking, could I turn it? And then I'm like, no, you've got a top folding card. You can't do that. So I'm going to lay them down on there, and I'll just trim around the frame. And I'm going to kind of stagger them, have one leg a little bit higher than the other leg. I thought that would be kind of cute. And we'll just get them glued down on here, and then I'll trim around that frame. And I actually followed the edge of the frame instead of like just in a straight cut and having them kind of hanging on the panel. They're going to actually hang off the panel. Wasn't sure how I liked it, but when I added my envelope and my sentiment, I liked it quite well. So we'll get our second slipper glued down on there, and we're going to lower it just a little bit just because our feet are uneven. And then we'll just cut around there and cut that off. There was a little tiny piece of pattern paper right there that I had to cut off. And I've decided that since I did that, I'm going to pop it up. So I've got some fun foam, and I'm just going to bring that die back in and run to my die cutting machine and die cut it out. And I actually trimmed the stitch edging off so that it would be a little bit smaller than what my die cut piece is, and that way it wouldn't show. And I'm going to add some of that I trimmed off to the bottom of that slipper that I have hanging down lower just to give it some stability. And we'll get this glued up and laid down on here. And I think it's really coming together. I like it. So I paused for a minute and I looked at my parameters and I thought, oh, I forgot about the post-it part of it. So I'm zoomed in a little bit more than what I was because I had taken my phone down to look at the parameters. And so I'm going to just die cut out a square, and I'm using a roped stitch square die from Cat Scrappiness. And I'm going to bring in my score buddy, and I'm going to just score on all four sides of this square to create an envelope. And I was just winging it. I counted and I went in, I think, 5 lines there, and I scored 5 lines all the way around it. And then once I come back in, I actually will score it again and make it a little bit different. What I should have done was actually looked at my top folds and came right in and scored right up next to it. And I flipped it over so that the stitched part would show, and I realize it's not a good fold here. So I'm going to mess with it a little bit. I'm going to score it again and create a better fold on it, and it'll work out just fine. So we'll fold that up further and it will look more like an envelope and cross over, and that'll work out nice. I'm going to score it and I'm going to bring in some glue, and I'm actually going to leave the top of it popped up. I thought that would be fun. So we'll just tuck some glue in here and get these panels laid down on here. And I'm just going to put it up there. And I've got that strip of white that was laying on the edge of my desk, and I thought I'll be perfect for a sentiment. And I went and grabbed my new Spellbinders Spring Smiles stamp set and grabbed the Warm Spring Wishes. And it wiggled on me on the wishes. The rest looked good, so I just flipped it over, and we're going to stamp it again. And then we'll cut it apart. I used my VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink, and I'm kind of shaking it, letting it dry, and I'm just going to trim it. I didn't stamp it the second time very straight, and so I'm just going to kind of cut around it, and we'll use it like that. And I didn't do a very good job of trimming, so we're going to trim some more until we get it right. And then I think I'll just, kind of stick that on there like that, and I think it'll be cute. So I'm going to get my envelope laid down, and I think I kind of cock the envelope a little bit more, and then I'll straighten out my sentiment and lay it down on there. We're going to bring in some more of that fun foam that I had cut off and just back this so we can pop it up a little bit. We'll just trim it off. I'm going to trim that down. It wasn't very straight. We'll add some glue and get this laid down on there. And I think this has really come together. I'm really pleased with it. I had fun with it. It was a fun card, and it was fun to get back in the craft room. I'm going to set that weight on there just to help it to dry. And then that'll finish up my card. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and just glad to be back with you. Take care. Bye-bye.